Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm gonna take a little break from talking about the things I dislike about the Dragon Ball Super card game right now, and I'm gonna talk about things I dislike about the One Piece card game. Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying, I love both of these games, I love playing them, and I want to see the card games grow and become more popular and gather more players. But there are certain things that are in each game that I don't like and I think need to change in order to make the game more enjoyable for a large audience, because I know I'm not the only person that thinks this. And again, these are my opinions. Feel free to let me know your opinions down in the comments below. And let's get into it. As you can tell on screen, Edward Newgate, the 9-drop super rare from set 2, has been absolutely wrecking the North American meta. And I know red's still incredibly viable. In fact, probably the most dominant color in the Asian meta, last time I checked. And I wanted to go over this card real quick, because there's another card I'm going to talk about too. But I want to start with this one. This card completely negates the downside of playing Whitebeard. Obviously, Whitebeard being the leader right here, that being the only 6k leader in the game, and him having 6 life, his ability at the end of a turn, you have to take the top card of your life to your hand. So you essentially are drawing 2 cards per turn, and you are paying a penalty for having a 6k leader. To me, that makes sense. But then you have Whitebeard here, which completely negates that. Obviously, it's a 9-drop 10k power, which is incredibly difficult to deal with, any 10k card. But on play, up to one of your leaders gains 2k power until the start of your next turn. So this is on your attacking turn and on your defensive turn. So when you add that 2k to Whitebeard being already 6k, that's 8k power that you have to swing in order to hit Whitebeard for lethal damage. But that's not it. That's not all. Then you cannot add cards from your life area to your hand by your effects during this turn. So that -1 life on your leader, don't have to do it anymore. And of course, it's Dawn 2 when attacking K up to one of your opponent's characters with 3k power or less. That gets rid of low to the ground blockers, which you would hopefully use to stop this thing. No, you can't. This card is better than half the secret rares that are currently in the North American meta. And that's absolutely insane to me. You know, when a player plays this card, and it's annoying as heck, but you're like, okay, fine, I'll live with it for a turn. The problem comes down to being able to play multiples of these during the game, one after another. For example, say an opponent has 2 life left on their Whitebeard. They play this. Okay, they're not taking that life this turn, and I'm probably not going to be able to hit them for lethal damage next turn. During my turn. Their turn comes around again. They play a secondary Whitebeard. Once again, they're not going to take that life during that turn, and their leader's going to get that 2k power again for essentially 2 turns. Your turn, their turn, and your turn. And then they have a 10k body. And then they play a third one. My problem with this card, and this is not me saying ban this card, I think this card needs to have some type of ruling that, or like Dragon Ball Super with the unique ability, where you cannot have more than a single copy of this card on board at any given time. Fine, you want to play it one time to like save yourself from taking a life that turn and give yourself an extra boost. Fine, that's no problem. My problem comes down to playing multiples of these during the game, one after another, and essentially you can't get around that. One overall 10k is incredibly difficult to get around unless you're dropping an incredible amount of resources. But the fact that Whitebeard also has access to cards like Radical Beam for 1, because you play the Whitebeard, you play the 9-drop, you have 1 open down. Your guy's already AK. Play this card, you now go to a 12, to a 12k. And that's on your leader. If I try to swing in at your Whitebeard with any of my cards, I have to get over 10k, plus the possibility of there being a Radical Beam, making it go up to 14k. And of course, that's just in the myriad of other 2k counters that are in the deck. Guard Point's also a really big one. But yeah, this card, it just... There should not be a way to play multiples of these during the game if you already have one on board. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or if you think I'm crazy. Because realistically, how does someone get out of being able to get rid of a board full of these? Unless you play Kaido. And Kaido is one way. You know, you play the 10-drop Kaido, blow up everything. But then you're kind of going to be screwed on the next turn, because more than likely you're not at a lot of life if they're dropping multiple Whitebeards. I don't want to see the card banned. I think it just needs to be... It needs to have some type of errata to... You can only play one of these per on the board per turn. Per game. You can only have one of them on board at a time, is what I want to say. And I know people are going to complain, and to me, those people that are complaining or are saying I'm crazy, hear that. Are you saying I'm crazy because you play Whitebeard and you want to be able to play multiple of these a turn? Or do you genuinely believe any deck can get around having 2 to 3 copies of this card on board at a time? Look past the bias here and see that this card is a problem. Especially when most of your 2k counters can be searched with your 1-drop Nami. You got your promo Luffy, you have Brooks, you have Sanji's. 3 different 2k counters can be found with this card. Beyond that, I mean, it's just... Or, you know what, Whitebeard maybe shouldn't be allowed to play events that aren't Whitebeard specific. That's another option. Or maybe another option is Whitebeard does not give you the 2k boost on your opponent's turn, only your turn. There's a lot of options here. But I'm just saying, just this card needs tuning, I think, in the future. Because it's just, you don't need to be the smartest person in the world to see that this card is a problem. And the second card I want to talk about today is the Secret Rare 10-drop Kuzan. This is the greatest Secret Rare in this game. In my opinion, once again. It is the only Secret Rare that I know of that has a continuous, permanent effect of constantly negging all of your opponent's cards by 5k during your turn. Not 5k, sorry, their cost down by 5. And then on play, of course, you can KO a card with a cost of 0. Against specific matchups. Well, I guess, every color, like low to the ground cards, there's always going to be a 0 cost card. My problem with this card is the fact that one's bad enough, but once you play a second one, which is possible, it becomes damn near impossible to keep any of your things on board, because basically at that point, all of your cards get minus 10. So even a 10 cost would become a 0, and becomes triggerable. All of his cards then are active now to KO things. You play a 10-drop card, cool, that Kobe is going to take it out. Sakazuki's going to take it out. Garp's ability is going to take it out. You're triggering the Smoker ability. Monkey D Garp 5-drop's taking it out. Impact Wave. It's just... There's a lot of cards here, not specifically this deck in particular. But this... Especially, and here's my thing. I play blue. And because it's the most fun I have with any deck, I think it takes actual, you actually have to think to play blue, not like red. Red's just rush, turn card sideways the deck. This card completely destroys blue, and blue has no answer for it. There's nothing. My 9-drop Mihawk is the best card I can play against this, and negging at 5 makes it a 4 cost. And cool, you got your Sakazuki to KO it. You can play your leader to minus it down to 3, and now your Kobe can take care of it. So blue has no option, really, of getting rid of it. And because they don't have to keep it tapped down, they don't have to attack with it to get that ability, they'll always leave it up. So at that point, you can't even attack it to get rid of it. It is always going to be there, it is always going to be a problem, and there's no way to get rid of it. And I know people are going to say, like, oh, he's a blue player bitching and complaining. Tell me any other card, any color that can get rid of this. Like, any color that can just get rid of it without attacking it. Besides black, you know. Black mirror match, you know, sure. Play Kuzan against each other, you know. That can work. Or, like, red with multiple Otamas and a jet pistol. Red and black are the only colors that I know of that can get rid of it. Of course, 10-drop Kaido can blow it up. But the card is just, in my opinion, is an issue. And how I would fix it is, once again, you can only play one of these a turn. Sorry, not a turn. We can only have one of these on board at a time. You cannot play multiples. And that be, during your turn ability, is no longer valuable. It's not there. This card should have said, when you play this, neg everything on your opponent's board by 5, lower their cost by 5 for the turn, and then KO something with a 5 cost. That way your opponent can then, you know, well, I guess, there's not really much else they can do with their cards besides, like, because you use all of your Dawn to play this. You can't play anything else to KO anything. Okay. Well, maybe the card just... Yeah, I just don't think it's permanent. It should exist. Like, yeah, neg everything on the board 5 cost when it's played, and then KO a cost of 0. That's it. That's what it should have been. And then it should just remain a 10k body, which is much more viable. The fact that this one card can shut down so many decks is ridiculous to me. I think it should just be unique, and it should have, you know, one copy on board at a time, and should also only have that ability to, you know, neg everything by 5 on play only, not during your turn. And then, hell, maybe then at that point you don't need to, it doesn't need the unique feature then. It can just, you can have as many of these on board because it's not a permanent effect. But yeah, these are just some opinions I have. This card and Whitebeard have so much more value than almost any other card in this game, if not any other card in this game. And, like I said, this is the best secret rare in the game. Yamato's really good in green, but it's really easily KOable. Shanks is not really viable anymore, now that Whitebeard's around. Uda's not good. And I'm talking about the North American meta. I haven't looked really into a lot of the newer cards coming out, which I will look into, but as of right now, this card is just ridiculous. So, same with Whitebeard, but these are my opinions. And of course, let me know yours in the comments down below. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are getting there little by little. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Here's how the story goes. We find out by the treasure in the grand line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Oh, oh. His name is Luffy. That's Monkey D. Luffy. King of the pirates.